Hey friends, so I'm back with a book review. The one that I'm going to do today is the book that I read, Isis, the Eternal Goddess of Egypt and Rome by Lesley Jackson. Now, this book was like sort of like a love-hate relationship, I guess. It was toxic. Um, the book in itself was like okay, like in a general sense. I got information. Um, Semi learned some stuff, very little. And then I feel like I left with more questions than answers from this book. Um, and just the way that the writer wrote the book, it seemed like it was geared more towards a bias in her personal like assumptions or personal feelings instead of being more like this is what it is. And that's what I was more so looking for, a book that's like this is who Isis is based on, research from looking through the Book of the Dead and like whatever other books that they have that can let you know how the Egyptians thought of Isis, along with obviously it says Rome in there, but they do to talk about Greece. And then so just like looking at those ancient civilizations and how they depicted Isis or whatnot. This book was more so based on, I want to say it was like more so based on the Egyptian goddess Isis, who is Aset. And they recognize that in the book, but continue to call her Isis, which kind of like frustrates me. I know that I've mentioned that and I will continue to mention it because I hope in the future that when people write about the Egyptian goddess, whether they're a Black author, white author, Latina, whoever, that they give her her proper name when they're speaking on Egypt. I just think that that would only be right. And I think that would have worked really well within this book if she mentioned like Aset so that we can know she's talking about Egypt, and Isis when she's talking about like Rome or Greece. I think that would have been such a perfect setup for this book. But anyhow, it just seemed like she had, like I was saying, like a bias going on and she wanted things like in her way. And it just like always burns me and like takes away from the book. I don't know, like maybe I'm obviously having a personal bias at the same time, the irony in that, right? But it just burns me when people do that because it's like then you try to like you want to say Egyptian, but then it's like you're trying to like um colonize the information or whatnot. There's like even a point in the book where she says I can't remember if she's speaking on Greek or Rome, but she's just like they had to like kind of put stuff together for Isis because the Egyptians didn't want to give out the information. Well, there's a reason they didn't want to give it out. It was something personal to them. And then so for someone else to just like take it and make it like something else, and then now she's just like so popular based on that when she should be who she is at the root of whatever. That's just my thought. I don't know. That's random. That may not necessarily have to do with the book, but I hope that you guys get what I'm trying to say. But the book itself was okay. She brought up like different points, different information. I feel like we want to, it's written in a way that it's like, oh, the Egyptian goddess or the Egyptians did this or that. But then it's like, again, colonized. So you're kind of putting on some of the Rome and Greece stuff like onto the Egyptian type thing. I don't know how to get this message across in the best way that I can. But I don't like if you read it, you'll just like kind of see it. The book to me is a little bit boring, but it was worth the read just to see the information, get it. But it wasn't a book that at the same time, like if I had a friend that wanted to learn more about Aset, that I would be like, oh yeah, here, go read this. I just think that it would miss the point of that. And even in a way, like if we went to the Greek or Roman side and said, let's learn about Isis, I think the book kind of just itself like waters down like who these like spirits, deities, however you want to look at it, who they are in a sense. Because when people are not honest and true to what is going on. It just makes it like a poop show kind of thing, so to speak. So if you're a reader, you like reading for the fact of reading, go ahead and read it. But if you want to learn more information or whatever, I think that there are probably better books out there, or even just Googling stuff just to get the quick information. It was a lot of comparison of like Isis to other deities, which she's saying like Isis got absorbed. Like they created her and then she took over like a lot of different aspects and stuff from other goddesses, which could be like a true thing. I know like her and her Thor are pretty similar, but I would assume that they had a purpose for that at some point. I don't know. It could have just been like an ego thing, like when these mythologies and stuff came about during the ancient civilizations. But I would have to assume the way that their minds work, that there was a purpose. And like a lot of the gods and goddesses back then, like have different, don't like they work together. It's not just like a one person system, like, oh, you're only the sun god, oh, you're only the moon god, oh, you're over rivers. Like you have different paths, and within there, like there's several gods and goddesses that work in the underworld together, and sky gods and like all these different things. So to me, there's a purpose. It would be a lot easier for us to wrap our mind around to just say, oh, this person represents the sun and that everything about them is the sun. And but I feel like they just knew the complexities of like people in general, and that these mythologies and stories and energies and stuff were to work with the people. And if you're dedicated to one, like if you're part of the Aset temple during that time, she's going to help you with different things. You don't have to go to Aset for this and then Baset for that, and this person for that. You can, but we're all working together, and even them, they have to work together. It's not just like one thing. And that's how it is within our society, where we need each other, we balance each other out, and we're there for each other. But that's just like a personal thing, nothing to do with the book. I keep rambling, but anyhow, so I love this color. I was really hopeful for the book. I do have the other one that I will be reading for the month of February. By the time you see this, it's going to be way past then. But for the month of February, I'm going to be reading the Hathor one. I'm hoping that it's better. I don't know. But this just, when I was reading it, I was so ready to be done with this thing. So, so, so ready. And yeah, so that's my thought, opinion. If you've read it, maybe I'm just not looking at the right concept or wrapping my head around it in the right way. Like everything is perception of. And so if you've read it or you have any like comments or anything on it to make me think about it a little bit differently, especially to make me think about it differently, to make me maybe go back and say, hey, let me give this another try, please comment below, because that would be really cool. But into the next one. Bye.